I really appreciate all of you guys coming out here for your Mother's Day. I know that if you're a mother, you're here, and if you've left mothers behind, I really appreciate you coming out. Today's transmission is extremely vulnerable, and I will explain why as we go along, but first, before I get in trouble, I'm supposed to introduce myself and our center, because I always forget to do that. I just kind of jump right in. I'm Jessica Alstrom, and this is Transcendence Wellness Center. Susie and I own this center, which is basically, we focus here at the root cause of suffering. And this is a trauma center, basically, because we don't need to fix what's right with you. We just need to clean up what is in the way between you and the life of your dreams. And so that's everything that we do here at Transcendence, and we have evolved over the last few years and really fine-tuned not only our crafts, but our modalities and our intention behind what we are actually doing here. And we have kind of honed it in and created a system that is becoming so amazingly successful that I can't express how excited I am. From our life coaching certification that we have here at Transcendence, we are taking, about 15, 20 people through their darkest places in order to heal the root causes of their own stuff, so that they can show up for other people. And I know that if you're in my life coaching certification right now, you did not even have an idea of what you were getting yourself into, did you? And now that you're involved, you're starting to see where that magic has always been, and that's always been with you. So today, our transmission is all about healing the broken heart within you to connect with your divine abundance. And you might say, how is that? How is money and my heart connected? Well, technically, love and money are the exact same frequency. And we use money as a symbol to express our lives. And so until we, have the big paradigm shift and we are no longer dealing with money, when we move from the third dimension into the fourth and fifth dimension as a collective species, we will not be using money, but at the time being, we are going to still be using money, and so we have to dive in and fall in love with that aspect. Just like we have to fall in love with ourselves. I don't care who and what teachers you're following right now in your universe, whether it be a spiritual teacher, a guru, a leadership coach, a counselor. What is the message? Love yourself. Love yourself. And that has always been what you came here to do. It's never really been about anyone else. And it's never really been about anything else. It's always about that root. That root of who you came here to be and who you have not allowed to become. So, we have 5 planets in Mercury retrograde right now, and we have a new moon that started on the 6th, and new moons are all about new manifestations and new desires being birthed and new energy being brought forth for you to create. And May symbolizes joy and freedom and expression, and with Mars being in retrograde, we have power and we have action. But what always goes hand in hand with that are all the beautiful triggers. Who here has been triggered lately? Who here has all of a sudden noticed that they haven't cleared up as much things as they thought they have in their past? Well, the reason why we move into retrograde is it's part of our spiritual upbringing. Because when a planet goes into retrograde, it's going to pull from the deepest places within you so that you can see more profoundly of who you are. So these retrogrades are never bad. And somebody somewhere must have thought we were strong enough to do all 5 planets that are very intense in retrograde at one time. And we are ready, aren't we? Are we so ready to move into our divine destiny? To have everything we've always wanted? Well, the second part of this year is exactly that. I just want to give you a little forecast, and I'll go vulnerable and share an experience that I had with my guides this last week. And they decided to take me out of body, which doesn't happen a lot. And when I go out of body, I can go past, parallel, and I can go future. Well, the first place that they took me was they took me into the future. And I cannot express the beauty that I saw. I mean, there's not human words to describe the green and the love and the community. I was shocked by the community. It was like being with your closest friends without their egos. It was like being in your family dynamic without all of that pressure and that tension and those obligations and those should'ves and those would'ves. It was just people coming together. And I cannot express the colors that are coming. Colors you've not seen before. Sounds you have not heard before. Love you haven't felt before. And so of course I was, glowing all through this journey with my guides. And as we went over mountains and hills and oceans, it was clean. People were clean. The planet was becoming pure because its people were becoming pure. And then they decided to take me into the other direction. And they started to show me collective consciousness and how we feel underneath the surface. And if you know my work by now, or you followed any of my podcasts or taken any of my classes, you know I'm a shadow hunter. You know I want to go down deep, deep, deep into the core of the darkness that you hide from yourself in order to free it and create that alchemy process for it so that you can transcend that into light. So what they decided to do is they decided to take me into the heart chakra of the collective consciousness. And I will tell you, it was at that point where, sorry, I fell to my knees because of the pain. You all have a broken heart. Close your eyes for a minute. Just feel your broken heart. The one you hide from the world. The one you cover in masks. The things you settle for. The things you don't go after. The unrequited love. The missed opportunities. The unfulfilled dreams. These are what creates our broken heart. And as we build layers and layers and layers and layers and layers to protect ourselves because we cannot feel the pain, we end up having a settled life. We end up having a life that is just okay while other people seem to be living their dreams. And we have no idea it's because of the walls that we have built. We have put those walls up because I can tell you, if you've been hurt before, you never want to feel that again, do you? When you've been left, when you've been lost, when you've been hurt, you don't ever want to feel that again. And so, basically, out of survival, you begin to build walls. And as you build these walls, you don't really know that they're there, and so you still try to push for things that you want. You still try to manifest your highest dreams. You still try to go after love. And it never works out for you, does it? Not really the way you want it to. Not the way you see it when you go into a visualization and your heart gets as big as the world. It doesn't ever quite work out that way. And the reason why is because the universe has to gift you your manifestations through your walls. And so it has to find cracks just to get you the things that you do have, which is a small part of who you actually are. You came here to express all of the parts of yourselves. And when I say the word vulnerable, what EBGBs does that give you in your body? Because that is probably the most scary word on the entire planet. To to be absolutely vulnerable and open up yourself so completely. No masks, no walls, no expectations, just a pure calling from your heart. Think back in relationships that you've been in, that you settled for, that ended up teaching you a grand lesson. Because the root cause was you didn't want to get hurt, so you didn't go after what you really desired. You settled and you got hurt anyways. Those partnerships that have failed, that have taken you into that scary place of doing the business that you want to do, it's time to heal that broken heart. And as we have Mother's Day, I will tell you that the energy isn't as loving as you would expect on a day like today. Because I'm going to tell you that the emotion that collective consciousness in this country is feeling on Mother's Day right now is resentment. Not being seen and heard. Not being appreciated. Not really feeling the love that you should be feeling on this day, whether you're a mother to a kitten or to 5 kids. It doesn't matter. We're feeling that break. And we're trying to get over it with spending time together and going out and receiving flowers like we've always done, trying to fix things from the outside. Well, the paradigm is about to shift big time mid-year. And that utopia that they took me to, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, is all yours. And as the shift begins to ascend halfway through this year, which we are quickly approaching, all you are asking of yourself is to let go of the walls. Because the dark side of this is you cannot have what's coming if you don't mend your broken heart. Your walls will be too thick to let it in. Whether it be money, or the partnerships you seek, or the grand love that you've wanted since you were a little tiny girl, you will keep that out just as well as you kept the pain out. Because this is an all-inclusive universe. There is no this or that. There is this and that. And because there is this and that, when you say no to pain, you also say no to love. And so if you've been following my work, I always talk about going into the pain. Because when you go into the pain, you are going with yourself. And all you are is love. And so as you start to expose these broken hearts within you, you start to see that this cry for help, your whole life that you've been trying to feed from the outside, it really never satisfies you. And before Second Sunday today, I sat upstairs, and for an hour, I looked for all of my broken hearts. And I found some things that I didn't even know were there. From when I was a little tiny girl. And, I'll just share a personal story, but I have never been in a relationship where I was the first choice. I've always kind of had to convince the person that I was with that I was the right one. And when I went back today on my timeline, I found that my brother was the favorite. And so I was always fighting for that. And then that basically leaked throughout my whole life. And I didn't put that together until this morning. So how many other patterns do I have, that we have, that are basically keeping law of attraction answering that pattern over and over again and proving to us who we say we are on the second choice? Which means that I end up settling a lot because I can't really have what I want. And I will tell you that applies to business, and that applies to friendships, and that applies to money, and that also applies to my own health. So you can see by me just going into my own shadow for a moment, I found a root. And so what I had to do is I had to actually go back to my child, and I had to be number one for her. Because no one was going to do that for me. No one was going to love me the way that I needed to be loved. And the reason why I'm sharing you it is because we're coming to the end of the ego. We're coming to the end of the darkness. August represents the end of the shadow. And so as we start to move forward, we have the support of the universe backing us and pushing us and triggering us into awareness. And as we become more aware, we can see our own patterns. And when I can see my own patterns, I can take my power back. Now, every single time I've ever done life coaching, I've always asked people to drop into their heart space when they're doing energy medicine or healing. And if you've noticed, up until today, I've always asked you to find something that you love unconditionally and hold it here. How many of you chose yourself in that visualization? How many people, when they were finding the thing they love unconditionally that warms their heart, it was them? Probably not very many of you. And so we've had to use a symbol outside of us, a child, an animal, a blanket, a place, to represent what we can't give ourselves. So as we move through this new energy that is just ripe for the taking, we are the ones that are saying no to it. Because there are people on this planet right now living heaven on earth. When they think it, it manifests. That's where we're heading. Because you are no longer as human as you think you are. You are moving back into a species called love. And this species only has love as all of its weapons. There are no weapons except love. And when you have put walls and walls and walls and walls and walls around yourself, how can you see, feel, and experience the magic that's coming? So your job is to take the walls down and expose yourself completely to yourself. Look at all the games you've been running. Look at all of the things that you've been doing in action-based reality to fix this broken heart, and it never fixes. Because you can't solve a problem with a problem. The only solution is to go within and find the cracks. The way that your heart beats, your ability to love, your ability to give, your ability to breathe, is all you have. And when that is bruised, cracked, broken, then your entire life is slightly broken. Your relationships are tainted. The way you see yourself is distorted. The opportunities that you seek don't seem to be seeking you. And so as we go within today, Mother's Day, Mother Earth, where all the healing is, because there is one thing that loves you as much as you do, and that's the earth. And she's quiet like spirit. She doesn't demand your attention. It's just the way the wind blows, just like your breath. And she's saying, give it to me. Give me your broken heart. I will mend it. Because you are Mother Earth. You are the one that's going to fix you. And yes, there's amazing guidance out there, and there's toolboxes. But until you are ready to take off the mask of how strong you pretend to be all the time, because you have to, and really get vulnerable again, nothing is really going to move for you. And while other people who are not afraid to do this are going to experience heaven on earth, you will experience the repeat autoplay of your reality until you get the message. Does that make sense? You are allowed to have exactly what you want. Love and money are the same thing. Love and abundance are the exact same frequency. So when you open yourself to love, you are also opening yourself to money. And when you are putting that wall up because you just got hurt again, then you're saying no to everything. Because all you are is abundance, all you are is love. And so when you say no to yourself, you don't have what you need. And you feel alone, and you feel blocked, and you feel stuck, and you feel misunderstood. And you don't understand why people can't see you and hear you for what you're saying to them. And that's just a manifestation of all the walls. So as we go into the second part of the year, I just want you to know how beautiful it is. I'm talking about your wildest dreams come true. The biggest visualization you've ever thought in your mind exists for you. The divine healing that you need in your body, it's there waiting. The pile of people you need to create your grand manifestation of why you're here on the planet, they exist for you. You are waiting on them because you think they haven't come. But your wall is keeping them out. The real love out. And as we move into the second part of the year, community is going to be the only way you move ahead. Now, for a long time, 2015 was a year of solitude. It was self-reflection. It was find yourself. It was heal yourself. And if, you're human and you've been on this planet, you've gone through some hell this first part of the year, haven't you? Some emotional hell this time of year. And that's all because everything's coming back up to the surface so that you can see it. Nothing is happening to you because you have manifested wrongly. It is manifesting because you're strong enough and ready to do it. That's the only reason why you're being triggered at all right now. It's because you can handle it. And your only weapon is love. So think about one of the times when you sat in visualization and you have expanded yourself 25 feet with the feelings of what you could create if you were unlimited. Do you know that's waiting for you? You are the game changers. You are the ground crew. You've come with the upgraded DNA. And the only thing that's keeping you away from actually creating what that desire that is within you is the walls that you've created around that heart space. Because the heart is the only thing that's telepathic. This is not. This is separation. This is your memories. This is your failures. This is where your broken heart lives, believe it or not. It does not live here. This is where the vulnerability is. Why do you think that there is a rib cage around it? Because that's our place of being vulnerable and exposed and pure. And if you've forgotten what that purity of love looks like, look at a child, because that's actually who you are. That's all you are. So all of those times when you were little and things didn't work out for you, you built your entire reality on that pain. When Dad didn't give you the attention, he gave someone else attention, that's still there as a broken heart because it doesn't take a big breakup to break your heart. Like I said, it's unfulfilled dreams and desires. The things that you want more than anything that just don't seem to work out for you. Do you know that you just keep chipping and chipping and chipping and chipping away at your own heart, even though there's a big wall? It's about the love you have for yourself as well. Because I will tell you, all disease comes from self-hatred. Deep, deep down. All misery comes from a broken heart. And fear is actually above grief on the frequency tone scale, and the reason why is because we are so afraid to feel grief. It is that feeling that makes us want to die. Grief is that pain that we cannot deal with. So we do everything out of fear to keep ourselves away from feeling pain, don't we? We medicate, we tune out, we date people that are not at our level, we do things that are not our potential in order to keep safe. They hurt us anyways, don't they? Because a broken heart has a signal to the universe that I'm broken, therefore I need to be broken and broken and broken and broken and broken and broken until I stop that song. So, I've seen where we're going, and I see where we are as a collective. And so I am doing my personal work for you and for myself. Because I'm only as capable as pure of my heart is. I can only grow transcendence to the depth of the walls that I have in protection. I can only grow my friendships to the depths of where I've been heartbroken by friends. I can only love my husband from the wall that I've created from all the unrequited love. And I can only love my children to the depths of I am afraid to lose them. That's human love. Human love is fear-based love. Think about something that you love unconditionally and imagine losing it. You can't. It would kill you, you think. And so we don't feel that. We push that. And that's what we use. We use emotion, energy in motion to build the wall. That's why everything that we do here is about emotional release. Because those are the bricks that you use to build your wall. That's the energy that you've piled up around you to keep yourself safe. That's why you're bored. That's why some of you don't even know what you want to do when you grow up. That's why some of you can't feel when I ask you to feel. It all goes down to how many layers and layers and layers and layers of bricks you have between the world and your heart. It's going to be beautiful. And I know that if you keep coming here month after month, you are the ones who are going to be able to do this. You are the ones that are going to be able to do this for yourselves, because when you set yourself free, guess what? You set everyone free, because we're all connected through the heart. So if I move into vulnerability of my heart space, that gives you the opportunity to do the same, because now you feel safe with me. I'm not going to hurt you. And then you do that for someone else. And they do that for someone else, and it quickly becomes the 100 monkey effect. And the frequency and vibration of this planet raises so quickly that this utopia happens overnight. And it is well on its way. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of intentional communities already living this way. Putting it into vibrational escrow so that we can all benefit when we are ready. This year is about finding partnerships where you feel safe, but not from a place of security, but a place of vulnerability. Fully giving yourself to partnerships. Fully embracing unconditional love for your children. Not fear-based love for your children. That does not mean judgment. That means unconditional love. Because they are your teachers. Your pets are your teachers. Nature is your teacher. And if you're afraid of any of those things, you're afraid of yourself. All allergies come from the wall that you have built around your immune system. All illness comes from the wall that you've built around hiding source energy from healing your body. That happens at the kidneys. Okay? So when you block the flow because God broke your heart as a child, when He wasn't there to rescue you from some painful event, you shut that out too. So as you begin to move into this bliss of you and heal you, then all of a sudden everything around you begins to heal and blossom. No more dead gardens. No more lost opportunities. No more unfulfilled dreams. Because what we're moving into is potential. We're moving out of survival as a collective. And the root chakra represents survival, and it also represents childhood and money. And as we heal the broken heart of our root, we begin to let abundance flow naturally, and we begin to let unconditional love flow through us and to us. It's the breath. It's in and it's out. That's the giving and the receiving of life force energy. And without doing that constantly, your body would not live. You can't just keep giving your out-breath. You cannot just keep giving. Because you know what? That's how you felt safe to receive love. Because if anybody tried to come in and actually love you the way you wanted to be loved, you couldn't feel the pain if they couldn't do it. So you keep it away. And you settle. So my question to you is, where is your heart broken? And as you begin to look within and really feel that, and you can let that pain out, and you can hold it like a child, then you can basically rebuild it, and this time you make it unbreakable. This time, you're going to make it out of material that is unbreakable. And the only material that is unbreakable is unconditional love. That's why when you're feeling bad and you move into gratitude, you immediately feel better, don't you? Because that's the frequency of unconditional love, where you are unbreakable. When you're grateful, you can't be hurt. It is the armor that is in flow with the universe. That is the only wall. The one that is giving and receiving. It's the wall you travel on. You're traveling on the edge of this wall, between your pain and your passion. And this is where you're safe. And this is where no one can hurt you. Because anything that shows up is part of your journey. And you welcome it with gratitude because you know that's your next step. And when you take expectations out of things and you take resentment out of things, and you work on the times where you've been humiliated, because that breaks your heart. When you've shown up authentically and you have not been allowed to be authentic, that is a huge break in your heart. And then what you try to do your whole life is become something that someone wants you to be in order to feel the love that you never received. And what you've denied yourself this whole entire time is you. So I'm going to throw a twist on this. Because you're less brokenhearted over the people and places and things you have not received. The real root of the broken heart comes from your relationship with yourself. When you are disappointed in yourself, when you are upset with yourself, when you go into the shouldas and the wouldas and the couldas, you break down that child within you. And you separate yourself from yourself, and you don't even know who you are anymore. So the relationship that is actually in despair is between you and you. Does that make sense? It's not about the relationship you're fighting in or the family that you feel unloved from. It's you. So when I actually went this morning and did my visualization in order to heal my broken heart around the way that my mom saw my brother, instead of visualizing her seeing me that way, I saw myself looking into a mirror. And I said, "You're my first choice. You're the love of my life. You're the one that I'm going to rescue." And I held myself. And this may sound silly, but I will tell you the lightness that occurred within my body right after that. It isn't a lightness that I felt since I was a little girl. Because imagine all of the rocks that you're carrying in your backpack called shame and guilt and humiliation and stress. And as you begin to take out these rocks, you lighten up. Isn't that the name of the game? Isn't that what enlightenment all is about? Lightening up. Because if you have a roof over your head and food in your refrigerator and people who love you and you still feel like you have a hole this big within you, it has nothing to do with stuff or people. It is the hole that has been blown inside of you from not receiving your own love. And when you nitpick and get triggered by your children, that is too a reflection of you not loving you. And when you nitpick your friends and you say things to people that you wish you wouldn't have said, that's coming from you not loving you. And the TV that you watch and the alcohol you drink and the things that you do to move outside of that emotional feeling, that is all covering that wall and that hole that you feel so deep. So what I want to do is I actually want to do a guided visualization this morning. Because I don't want you to be living here when you leave here. So the alchemy process is exposing the darkness and transcending it into light. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Because if I could do it upstairs in my office in 3.5 minutes, then I can take you through it. I can take you through it. And you can put your own spin on this. Because as a guide, I am just there to kind of plant seeds for your higher self to run in the direction of how you see it. So as I say things, allow your mind and your imagination to take you where you need to go. Don't logic this. Because I will tell you, you know what logic is? Logic is a wall that you use to protect yourself from your own imagination. Because your imagination is where all of you live. All aspects of you live in imagination. And you use logic to keep that out. You use responsibility to keep that out. Because all you are is focused imagination. You are consciousness. You are pure positive energy. And you want to flow. That's all you want, is you want to flow energy and you want to receive energy. That's all you came here to do. And the energy that you came here to flow was joy and love. And when you get lost in a craft project or something you love, you're not thinking about your walls, are you? Because for that time and space, you let down your walls and you let everything flow. And that's why you're not focused on logic. You're not looking at time and space. You're not hungry. You're not human. You are you. You are the you that is underneath the suit. And so if you're not getting lost in your projects and your imagination, then you aren't being you. So when I stand up here in front of all of you, I have to take a deep breath and I have to put my walls down. And it's not always easy. Especially now we're doing this live thing. It's very awkward. So, I'm having to put my walls down and expect that I might get some comments that are not pleasurable. And put myself out there to not be received as positively as I want. But you know what? The message inside of me is so strong, I don't care. I don't care what people think. Because I put my walls down as soon as I'm here, so I have nothing that stands between me and you. So I want to guide you guys. First, I want to tell a really 2-minute story. Soundtracks have always been really, really, really powerful to me. Music soundtracks, like when you're watching a movie. Imagine watching a movie without the music that goes with it. It doesn't exist, does it? So soundtracks have always been like the thing that I've been drawn to, because when I go into my imagination, my stories are like a movie, and I like to have a soundtrack with that. And so I asked the universe about 6 months ago to find some really amazing music that I could work with to put my soundtrack on. And out of the blue, Andrew Elliott, he actually messaged me one day on Facebook and said, I'm a composer, and I saw some of your work, you might like this song. And he sent me a song, and I looked at his website, and all he does is movie soundtracks. And they're extremely spiritual. This music is extremely spiritual, because the second I hit play, I was bawling. And that's what music does to us. It transcends all of our bullshit, excuse me. And immediately we go back into our heart. And so I've been collaborating with him a little bit, and we're doing some guided meditations, because to me, I like powerful music that's going to move you and take you into a place where you can feel the depths of yourself. And you cannot do that without specific music. And so when I was working through this broken heart the last 2 weeks with my guides, and realizing that there is only one root cause to suffering, broken heart. The root cause of all suffering is that. Then all we have to do is go heal that within ourselves. And so I asked him, I said, do you have anything, spur of the moment, that's me, wait till the last minute, as of last night. And I said, do you have anything right now that has a heartbeat in it that you could send me for today? Because again, I wrote this last night. And he said, absolutely. And it's the music of Guinevere and Lancelot, if that resonates. And the music is all about love that's coming together authentically. And pureness of love. And pureness of vulnerability. And so it's only just a couple of minutes. I just want to take you through a visualization that I want you to take home and do later with your own music and your own visualization. Because to me, all I am is a guide and a mirror for you so that you can remember more of who you are. That's my only job. I'm just the guide that brings you back to the mirror. So please kind of take this. It'll be on video if you want to receive it later. And I did write it down because who knows where my mind will go. And I want to just take you through this little visualization. And I want you to do me a favor. No one is looking at you. You will not be on camera. Allow yourself to be vulnerable for just a couple of minutes. Now my sound quality is probably not the best because I don't have the high-tech systems. And I welcome anyone who wants to help us with that in the future. Get with me, because I will receive that. And I just wanted you to have the essence of the music, and I want you to listen for the heartbeat in the music. And as we go along, I want you to pretend like there's no one sitting next to you so that you don't have to put the wall up of embarrassment if you begin to get emotional. No one is going to judge you. By you opening your heart, you're giving everyone next to you. It's not like a movie you watch with your best friend where you apologize for crying. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm crying. Don't do that. Just feel. And if you don't cry, that's okay. I'm pretty good at getting you to cry, though. It's my gift. Okay. So Amber's going to do the music, and I'm just going to walk you through it, and I have a little bit that I've written, and I'm going to just intuit the rest. And I'm going to watch for you guys to move into your own space and have your own experience. And I will honor wherever you go. Okay? So first just get, one second, Amber. Get really, really comfortable in your chair. If you want to take off your shoes, please do that. Melt into the chair and just ground yourself with the room. Just listen to my voice. Don't look at the person next to you. Just be with yourself. Go ahead, Amber. And listen to the heartbeat of the music. Be here with me now. I am here to hold space for you. You are safe to feel today. With your eyes closed, put both hands over your heart. Take a deep breath. Feel your own heartbeat. Good. Now, with your own unconditional love and the warmth of your own hands, let us give ourselves the love we have never received. Breathe. Let us heal the breaks from the unrequited love, and let us mend the bruises and the unfulfilled hopes, dreams, and desires not yet manifested. Breathe. Your breath is your soul. Let it in. Let your soul heal your body. Breathe until you find a child within you. Look for your child. Connect with the child within you. Look your child in your eyes. Feel their resistance, their fear, their heartbreak. And imagine holding them tight for the very first time. And as the two of you become one, imagine healing your own heart. Use whatever you can imagine to heal. You can use light, which is information. You can use gold, which is abundance. You can use love, which is who you actually are. And as the healing begins, and the two of you become one, create now a heart within you that is unbreakable, that is free to be vulnerable, that is completely safe in its authentic, transparent communication towards life. Whisper to yourself, I am safe to take these walls down. I am safe to fulfill my own destiny. I am here to change the world. And I am here to be myself and love others. I now receive my abundance. Take one last deep breath. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. The new frequency of this room right now is hope. The frequency when you walked in here was resentment. Somewhere low, deep, deep, deep within you. You weren't really conscious of. And now it's hope. And hope is the place where we can rebuild. And hope is where we can take our power back, because I can trust myself now. Your intuition is your first 3 seconds. And as you say no to your intuition, it has to move into logic. So after 3 seconds, you move and you hit the wall. And then you think and you feel with the same old feelings from the past, and then you make your decisions. So I ask you today that for the rest of your life, you listen to those first 3 seconds as your spirit guide, as your ascended master, as the God that is within you. And you will know exactly where to go and what to do. And if you continue to do this in other areas of your life and make it up, however you feel intuitively about taking your heart out and literally healing it and putting it back in and breathing that new downloaded information into the body, you will start to see that your life is going to lighten up. And the abundance that you've wanted forever is going to come in such a way that you will never, ever, 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 ever would have expected how fast and how beautiful it actually is going to look. Because you're here to have everything that you want. You're actually here to connect with all of your desires. You're here to have all of the silly things you wanted as a child. You're here to be loved and to give love purely without condition. So the next time you choose a relationship or choose anything, ask yourself, am I making this choice because of my wall? Am I settling for this because of my wall? And then do this process over and over and over again, and you will start to feel stronger yet more vulnerable. Because the heart that I built is unbreakable, but it's vulnerable. Which means that I'm free to let love in, and I'm free to give it out. So, how does everyone feel? Light? Lightening up? Is this resonating today? I usually know if I'm going through it, everyone's going through it. It's part of what I signed up for, is to be at the front line, to go through what Collective is going through. And so I'm feeling this exactly with you guys. And I felt everything that you were just going through, and I'm sure you could feel the person next to you, what they were going through, because you're all such empaths. And I wanted just to leave you with that today. Let you know that there is people in your life that you can be safe with. You just have to learn to recognize them. And if you don't have those yet, as you do more and more of this work, you will start to see that your relationships become partnerships, and your partnerships become communities, and your communities become the world. Because we're safe to play together now, aren't we? We weren't maybe this time last year. We were so fixated on who could hurt us and what people's intentions were. And as we learned self-love last year, now we're mending the broken heart, because only someone who loves themselves can mend their broken heart. And this actually came from a session that I had with Rosie a couple of weeks ago, where she asked me, well, how do I mend a broken heart? And I said, what would you do if your daughter's heart was broken? And she said, I would love her. You see how first you have to have self-love in order to love the broken parts of you? You have to love yourself in order to heal your own broken heart. You have to be worth it. Because I'm telling you, your desires are not going to go away, they're going to get stronger. The urges to help people are going to get stronger. The urges to build communities, that's going to get intensely stronger. Because what we're trying to do collectively is tear the walls down. Isn't that symbolic? We're trying to actually technically tear all of the walls down between races and color and gender and money and power. Because what we manifest outside of us is a perfect reflection of the war within. And so as we tear down our walls between us and our hearts, then we are free to tear the walls down of the protective elements that we've created for ourselves as a reflection. So it starts here. So I thank you all for coming and being emotional with me this morning. Because the only way to get what you want is to go completely through it and be aware of it. Because awareness is your wellness. Awareness is all you need. Because you have all of the toolbox completely buried down deep within you. And that too has been a wall between you and you. Your spirit guides, there's only a wall between you and you've created it. So as you heal, you let it all in and you become who you always were underneath. So I'm going to move into question and answer now. I saw a couple hands already go up. And this will also be online. So for anybody that's got questions online, Susie will read those questions to me, yes?
Yes, so far we don't have anybody online.
Okay, so who has a question? Al?
Yeah, you was talking about Mother's Day, and I was moving around this morning getting things together, and I'm thinking, it's Mother's Day. And I felt no emotion toward it, just like it was just, like Sunday on the calendar. You look at it, you see it's Sunday, there's just nothing to it, just another day, right?
Yep.
And for you to bring that out like that just kind of blows me away, because I've been questioning about, why don't I feel some kind of emotion about this? So I texted Happy Mother's Day to my ex, because that's the only mother
Did
I
it feel good? Were you, you were vulnerable?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Practice takes perfect. You've been practicing this wall for a really, really long time. So first start with the people who love you unconditionally, and then move into your haters. Yes.
That's funny you say that, because I made a big deal about not making today a big deal, and I didn't realize why that was. But I think it was such a fear of being disappointed.
Exactly.
And so it's easier for me to say, like, just make it a regular day. I don't want to,
I decided today was about me and my mother within. Not what my kids did for me, or if I got the calls, or think about my mom that I'm not speaking to. I made it about me because I felt the same way when I woke up. It's okay, numb it out, right? Numb out the pain. And I'm like, nope, not today. Not today, it's about me and me. Because you know what? There's a child and a mother within me. And believe it or not, even you men out there, there's a child and a mother within you. And so I could feel that kind of low-grade resentment masked with numbness on top of it when we all walked in. It's like when you wake up and you're not celebrated the way that you want to be celebrated, or whatever. That just activates the broken heart that's already there. Does anybody else have any questions? And please ask questions. Be vulnerable, because when you ask questions, everyone has these questions. So you're helping other people. Yes, Rosie?
I just want to say that within the last 2 weeks, I have felt the planets, and I have had the weirdest 2 weeks where canceling, clients canceling or beginning, and it was just like the whole week, the whole 2 weeks was just.
That happens in retrograde.
Yeah.
Because when we're in retrograde, we're a lot of times in our past timeline, and so we're not fully present. And that's why they say, don't sign documents or don't try to say things, because you never want to make any sort of decision when you're back in your timeline, because when you're not present, you're not you. And so you might be making a decision out of old fear, grief, shame, or humiliation.
Some people don't know what retrograde means.
Well, retrograde, it just means that the planets, the alignment of the planets create more electromagnetic energy for us, and we are electromagnetic energy. And so as that becomes more calibrated, we become more sensitive. And one of the things that I will tell you guys about your broken heart is when you start to feel, you jump out of your body immediately, because the pain is too overwhelming. And that's why when you meet people who don't seem like they're really with it, when you talk to them and you're like, whoa, they've spent so much time right outside of their body that they don't even know that their body is sick. They don't even know that their ego is just talking. They're not aware of themselves anymore, because the broken heart has been so complex that they've separated themselves from themselves to an extent where they don't know who they are. So they're not doing that on purpose, and they're not stupid. They're just not in the body. And anytime you get overwhelmed, stressed out, or something like Mother's Day, we just hop right out of body because, you know what, it's easier not to feel it. But in order to heal it, we have to feel it. And that didn't take long. That little 3-minute song, that did not take long. And if you would just invest in yourselves what you so heavily invest in others, it would come back to you tenfold. So if you made your own mending a priority for the next couple of weeks while we're in this new moon energy, how about instead of trying to manifest your desires this month using the brand new birth of a moon, right? How about you spent this entire month nurturing you? Nurturing the child within, and then as the moon becomes full, the manifestation is a birth process, and as we move into June, it's going to be action. It's going to be expansion. It's going to be opportunities. It's going to be partnerships and communities. And they're going to come in, and if you don't feel safe or you don't trust people because you don't trust yourself, you're going to push those people away, and you're going to go, how come we can't change the planet? How come we can't change the world? Why can't people work together? Well, we can now. We're moving out of survival. We're moving into community. This is where you really want to embrace the people who love you unconditionally right now. And use them to help you feel safe during your mending process. Does anybody else have any other questions? Comments? Concerns? Katie?
I'm trying to formulate. I'm just trying to figure out how you address when your blocks are hidden, when you just aren't finding them, when you're not getting to the emotion.
Well, the beautiful thing about blocks is there will always be a trigger. Okay? So look to your triggers for your answers. Your triggers will always hold the codes of where the blocked energy is. And the blocked energy is the wall that hides you between you and your broken heart. So that's why we're all being so triggered right now. That's why all these planets are retrograding, because it's pulling out of us all the triggers. So as the triggers, it's right in your face and you can see it. You can go, oh, wow, his tone made me feel 2 years old and insignificant. And then you can work on that.
I have a story that happened this week that might help you. Like, I had spent the last year self-love, and then so I thought I was doing a pretty good job. And then last week we started talking about a family vacation, and every time we would talk about it, all this I would get that like clump in my throat. And all we were talking about was where we were going to go. But what brought up for me was I was getting triggered because when we go on vacation, I feel left out. I feel like they all do their thing and I get left alone. And like, why wasn't I the priority? You know, why wasn't I don't know, on vacation. I mean, I just thought, well, so that was a trigger I would have never pulled that up. I would have never probably found that in meditation. It came up over a certain, and so my question to the universe was like, how much more can I love myself? I love myself like every way I know how, and coming here today I realize it's about a broken heart. It's not about self-love.
It's not.
So it's just really normal, everyday conversations that you'll find,
The triggers are there. We're all being triggered right now. And the triggers are your spiritual teachers. And you ask yourself, what am I feeling? When else have I felt this way? Where am I covering up my broken heart? Heal, 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 mend, 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 mend. Because now that you love yourself, you can go in and fix yourself. When you don't love yourself, you don't even deserve your own love. Therefore, why would you want to fix yourself? So now we can do that as a collective, and I'll tell you, we are right on target. We are moving just divinely as planned. The potential and the possibilities that are lining up, we are hitting our growth points. We are doing it. I don't want you to feel like you're not doing your work if you're getting triggered. You are doing your work if you're getting triggered. If you are having your dark nights of the soul right now, you are right on purpose. It is those dark nights that birth from you the answers that you've been seeking. The loneliness of losing everything is your strongest ally right now. I just put something on Facebook the other day and it said, to basically when you lose everything, you get everything. And I got a lot of comments about that. And to me, that's the only way I've ever grown, is to completely feel lost, completely feel like the outcast of my own family, completely feel the brokenness within me. So anybody else have any questions?
I don't have a question, but when you were doing that, the heartbeat, I was asking Mother Mary
Good.
to work with me.
Good. Yes. You can bring in your guides, but a lot of you that have broken hearts have pushed away your guidance as well. Never left you. The money's never left you. The answers have never left you. They're literally right behind the wall. So however it is that you seek to bring this into yourselves, that's why I said intuit. Just completely be intuitive with your process and let yourself go where you need to go and allow yourself to heal the real pain. Because it isn't really the last relationship you were in. It was probably 3 months before that. Or the family vacation that started all of that trauma where you felt left out. And now every other time you have that anticipation of it's not going to go well because I'm not going to be seen and heard. It's not going to be about me. Yep.
Can you use feeling good as a block?
Yep.
Because I think I'm doing that. So for me, I'm just looking at the situation going, okay, so anytime I feel a twinge, because what I've been feeling is, not necessarily the last few days, but before that, I'm not really getting triggered. Well, maybe I was, but it's the recognition of it. So any little twinge, you need to blow it up and go.
Right, and you don't have to feel bad doing this. Just because you're going into that broken space, you don't have to feel bad. It doesn't have to be, hours and hours of fetal position crying. It literally can just be the recognition of it. And the recognition of it is the light switch, by the way, because you know what recognition is? It's awareness. And awareness is all you have. And so you're like, oh wow, I had a broken heart about my mom this morning. Totally found that. And I didn't do a ton of processing over it, just recognized it. Recognized my pattern in always being the second choice. And when I found that pattern, it was easy for me to let go of always being second best because I found my root. Does that make sense? So yes, feeling good can be the same. We can numb ourselves with feeling good. Have you ever met those people who are like, oh my gosh, and you know that there's a fire of agony going on deep within the surface? Because again, you can use whatever technique that you have to hide yourself from yourself. But with so much light on the planet now, you can't hide anymore because the triggers are coming and they're coming and they're coming and everything is in your face and you're being pulled to community and you're being pulled to partnerships and you're being pulled for your destiny and your purpose is calling you and you can't deny it anymore. And so it's really like you have one choice. It's look within. Because you will not make it. And there's a lot of people who are not going to be joining us in this utopia yet. They will finish what they started here. It is literally like an earth that is separating. And the ones that have found love and have healed, they will shift into a whole new world. And the ones that have chosen to stay behind the walls will keep fighting their enemies from a wall. Isn't it funny the way that our politicians are talking right now about walls? Isn't that symbolic? It's so synchronistic about what you're going through within. So, what am I supposed to talk about, Susie?
Subscribe to your YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. For all of you guys that have been following my podcast, I so appreciate it. I do it in one take. I probably flub my words. I'm just giving you my heart, and I really appreciate you guys listening and following because there is a lot of my work in that will help you through these times right now. So please subscribe. Our channel is Transcendence Wellness Center. And, I have probably about 20, 25 podcasts now, and we have all of our second Sundays. We also have a lot of archived radio shows on our website. Follow us on Facebook. This lets us know who's following us and who we can, help. And anything else, Susie?
If they have any suggestions for podcasts.
Oh yeah, they already do. I love your emails, by the way. I've been getting about 25 to 30 emails a day from the YouTube channel, and I've been trying to help you guys with your things as much as I can online. And I love the fact that most of the time when I receive your email, it's something like, I'm really working on this, and I know it's about me, and I know I'm my guru, I know I'm my teacher, and I'm like, hallelujah! So it's really amazing to be able to see that this isn't just Kansas that this is happening, and this is literally the whole world. So I don't want to keep you on your Mother's Day. I wanted this to be short and sweet, and I want you to reflect today about how important it is for you to let down the walls and be with yourself, and all the love that you're not receiving from someone else, it's time to give that to you. Oh,
Someone posted, I find it difficult to understand the differences between feelings or emotions, but thank you for your podcasts and live streams of today.
so emotions are electric and feelings are magnetic. Okay? So emotion is energy in motion. And a feeling is the magnetic charge that holds emotion in place. Does that make sense? So electricity is moving everywhere, right? And then magnetism holds it in place. So emotion, right? So like you can have the emotion of being sad, but you feel grief. You see the difference? Grief is that heaviness that's on your chest. Sadness is the emotion that it grounds to become a feeling. So the feeling, so basically your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are the three magnets that the universe is listening to at all times. So the walls you think you're so slick at building, the universe is listening and watching your walls to see what it can give you. And if I have a feeling is I'm not safe to be myself, it's not okay for me to be authentic, no one loves me for me, then that is a feeling. And emotion is sadness. It's crying. It's anger, because anger is sadness's bodyguard. Anger is what you do to keep your power. When you're angry, anytime you're angry from this point to the rest of your life, when you're angry, say, why am I really sad? And you're going to feel your heart break. Because anger is your wall to keep grief out. Does that make sense? Did I explain it? That's physics. That's the only way I know how to understand it, is frequency and vibration. But the feeling is literally more, it's a heavier quality than just an emotion. Because emotions are coming and going all the time. Feelings are what start on your timeline. Feelings are the integrated emotion on your timeline. Because all feeling in the present moment is only neutrality. You only have neutrality in the present moment unless you're triggered. And that will take you to the feeling to locate where you are magnetized to your timeline, where you're not stuck. You only have neutrality in the present moment unless you're triggered. Wow, I hear myself! Is that you, Jesus? So any other questions before we wrap? I hope that helped. I can do a podcast on that. I will actually do a longer podcast on the difference between feelings, emotions, beliefs, and mindsets, because it's like light, heavy, 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 and universe is listening to that. Yes?
I don't know. I don't really have a question. Mike and I, for 7 years, went out last night to celebrate our anniversary, which we're not married right now, but
7 years?
14.
Oh,
We've been together.
Okay.
So like end of the second 7-year cycle. And Friday night got triggered and I was like, I don't want to go anymore, I don't want to do it. And I feel like I always sabotage it.
Yep.
But I forced myself to go out last night, because I had, and like be with him around other people.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't go well.
Uh-huh. That's because you didn't think it was going to go well.
Well, I know. but I don't know how to.
So you're not gonna fix your broken heart with your boyfriend. That's something between you and you.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Sabotage is also another huge wall. So look at the last time you sabotaged yourself and realize what Fort Knox that wall is. That's a big one. Self-sabotage. So you're never going to want to fix your broken heart with people. It's not like calling mom and being like, why did you love my brother more than me? She's gonna be like, I didn't. I mean, really, she probably would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's between me and me. Because what will happen is if you fix the wounds that are deep inside of you about your own broken heart, you will notice that you can go and be with anyone. You can go and do anything.
So in that, what do I do right now? Because I'm not there yet. I mean, I'm working towards that.
Right now, all you need to do is become aware
Okay.
of all the times. You have to go back on your timeline and you've got to look at all of the times where your heart has been broken. And right now, you're just becoming aware of it. And let the charge lighten, let the energetic charge lighten, and put some light onto it, and then we can process it out. Okay, but first your job is just to become aware of where your heart's broken. This is a shift. Right now, you just becoming aware that it isn't about self-love, it's about healing. Yes?
And I need to make a comment too. You can't do it unless you spend time with yourself. If you're gonna be too busy with life and everything else,
You know that that's a
you're
wall?
never gonna get there.
Do you know busyness is a wall? Do you know focusing on other people's problems is a wall? You know wanting the best for your alcoholic aunt and uncle is a wall? Because you're focused on someone else's life, you're not focused on your own heartbreak. And a lot of us I learned love, that if I gave, I would receive love. I didn't understand that I was just so deserving of love for just being me. I learned love conditionally. So it's really easy for me to build the wall around my heart and then tell everyone else how much I love them and do all these things for them and help all these people. But then if it came back to me, I'd be like, I don't even know what to do with this right now because of the wall. And that's the wall that I've been working on last year, is actually letting it come back in and letting someone love me the way that I can love them. Because usually as children, we learn love some conditional way, you know? But yeah, you gotta be with yourself because you know what? That's what you're really afraid of. Why do you think everyone's on the phone? They're afraid to be with themselves. They're afraid of what they're gonna feel. Did somebody have a question over here?
I just wanted to say, that's what got me in trouble, was having an open heart, because I learned to trust the wrong people. I trusted people that I led to my house, to clean my house, and they stole from me.
But you must have had a belief system and a broken heart before that, because you cannot attract anything that you're not a vibrational match to. Okay? So usually if someone steals from you, right, that's a manifestation of you not trusting yourself somewhere, right? So every root is about you. If someone doesn't love you, it's because there's somewhere where you said, oh my gosh, I'm unlovable, and you stopped loving you. You cannot manifest anything outside of you that you're not a match to somewhere, some filtration system. So there had to have been lack of trust for yourself in order to attract the housekeeper. It's subconscious. I'm not saying you're doing any of this consciously. Honestly, if we were doing any of this consciously, we'd be so aware of it, we wouldn't have to dive in. And I will tell you, you know where self-love is in the subconscious mind. You know where the broken heart is? It's in the unconscious. It's so deep, 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 deep down. Because we just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And so when we finally expose the unconscious to the subconscious to the conscious, that is the complete alchemy process. That is putting light into all of the dark.
So do you literally have to go into every time your heart broke and
No.
heal that? Or can you like go into one grand?
Go to one grand heartbreak will change your entire world. Like the one that I did this morning, I can already see my timeline shifting in the future. I had no idea that being second best was that influential in all of my choices that I've made my entire life. Right? Because when you're second best, you're never first. So that's what I needed to clear this morning, and so I did that, and now I get to be first in my own life. I get to be the leading lady of my own life instead of the co-star. And now my energy can move on my timeline, because the thing is we're really in that kind of arrow perspective right now where we got to get pulled back, and then we get back, and when we let go, we ascend very, very quickly into the future, because this utopia, you could literally be living in this utopia by the end of this year, because all of the groundwork is here. There's so much magic waiting for us on this planet that we are a vibrational match to, and as we let go of the past, then we are more in alignment with the fifth dimensional planet, which means that everything is potential and possibilities and unconditional love.
So, I don't know what my question is. I think I'm asking more for insight or encouragement. But,
Okay.
So my mom passed away 3 years ago, and there's just a lot of grief surrounding it still.
Yes.
And it comes in waves, and sometimes, I'm grateful because I had a great, there's wounds, but I've done a lot of healing stuff with my mom, but there's still, waves of grief that just come in, and sometimes it's overwhelming, we just break down in tears. But it's been 3 years, and it's still.
See, the thing is to grief, time doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's why when I asked you to go into your broken heart, you could have gone into a broken heart when you were 5 years old and it felt like it was happening now. Because time and space don't exist when it comes to grief. Grief is that frozen emotion where you won't emotionally actually move forward until you heal that. And the way that you would heal that is you would sit with that and really be with that grief. Because grief is one of the things where it needs to be held, it needs to be accepted, it needs to be able to flow. You need to be able to break down, because break down, break through. You're not weak.
Well, no, I had many breakdowns. And with friends, and alone, and with people in community and by myself.
Well, one of the things that I would recommend is finding the triggers with you and your wife, because there's going to be triggers with your wife that are going to be representation of mom. So you could clear those triggers and be like, what am I feeling here? Okay? And also go back to little times where you abandoned yourself, because I see abandonment in your timeline. So abandonment where you abandoned yourself, where you abandoned your dreams, where you abandoned your hopes. That's locked within mom, because mom represents that. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So when we lose someone, it's about the abandonment trigger. And then we have to go in the timeline and find where we first abandoned ourselves. Because you've done a lot of processing on mom, so it's probably not about mom anymore, it's about you.
Okay, good, yes.
Okay.
So everything that has happened in our lives that we consider negative, we did to ourselves initially.
Out of protection.
So none of the negative would have even existed if it hadn't first been something we did.
Because I will tell you, I've met a couple of people in my life that had pretty clean timelines. Like they were really in loving, nurturing, supporting families, and they were allowed to be themselves, and they were seen and heard, and they were safe, and they had good roots and structures. I'll tell you that those are the people who are like the most successful adults. And they have great confidence, they feel good in their skin, they are just easygoing, they get along with everyone. You know what I mean? It's like they're just really like, they put themselves out there, and they don't even get hurt. So it all comes down to going back to the initial abandonment issues and the initial lack of love and safety issues and the lack of not being able to be authentic and, being violated. Those times you've been hurt, you don't want to get hurt again. You will put all kinds of walls in front of you so that you don't have to feel that pain of being hurt. Because your body, I'm going to tell you, your body's pretty tough. Physical pain is so much easier to heal than emotional pain. The emotional pain is rampant on the timeline. The physical pain heals very quickly. So when we get bumped and bruised, it's not as bad as someone telling you you're not good enough. So that's really where most of the broken heart is going to come from. And also, when you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you judge how you look, find the broken heart of where you let yourself down by not looking the way you want to look. Because you have this idea of who you are, and when you look in the mirror, it reinforces the heartbreak. And honestly, when you heal the heartbreak within, the body will start changing into what you want. Because that's how alchemy works. It's like you can't have it until you let go. Anyone else? Okay, so I want you guys to actually have a very loving Mother's Day. Find the positive aspects about yourself. Find the positive aspects about mom. Remember to celebrate mom if you've lost mom. And find that nurturing love for yourself that you really, really need today. And celebrate with Mother Earth because, you know what? It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day. And there is, I think we're going to get rain, but it's gorgeous until it rains. Thank you guys for coming and happy Mother's Day.